My wife wanted other men, but she never expected my next move. She did not think it would happen. I'm a 31-year-old man. I began selling business buildings right after school. People think selling land is easy, but I worked very hard. I called people from 7 in the morning to 9 at night. I did this every day, even weekends. My hands hurt from dialing so much. I almost lived in my car. I drove buyers to see many buildings. My first year, I made $47,000. That was bad money for 80 hours of work each week. But I kept going. I knew I could make more later. The first year was very hard. I ate cheap noodles for dinner most nights. I spent all my money on gas and nice clothes for work. My school friends got easy jobs with good pay. I had people hang up the phone on me. They shut doors in my face. My mom and dad asked when I would get a real job. They said I should stop playing at selling things. But I wanted to build something big. I did not want to be just another worker in a big office. My days were crazy. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. I exercised for 45 minutes. I washed. I put on my cheap suit. I started calling people at 7 in the morning. I rented a small room for $300 each month. It was like a big closet. It had a desk and a phone. I called 200 people each day. Maybe 10 would talk to me. If I was lucky, I set up 2 or 3 meetings. Most meetings were canceled, or they were a waste of time. But sometimes I found a real buyer. People said no to me all the time. It hurt my feelings. They said, "Go away," or "Don't call back." Some hung up right away. One week was very bad. I called 1,000 people. No one wanted to meet. I wanted to stop. I thought about working for my dad, but I kept trying. The second year was better. I made about $73,000. I learned more about the job. The third year, I made over $100,000 for the first time. I felt like I was doing well. After 5 years, I had saved money. I knew people in the business. I took a big risk. I started my own company with my school friend, Ben. Ben and I met in our first school year. We were roommates by chance. He studied business. I studied money. We liked the same things. We both loved basketball and bad action movies. We became friends fast. Ben can make friends fast. In 5 minutes, he knows someone. I am not like him. I think a lot and like to be alone. I was good at the hard parts of selling buildings. I could study the market. I could set prices. I could deal with papers. I knew the rules. Ben was good at meeting people and finding buyers. Ben could walk into a room with people he did not know. He would leave with 5 new cards. He would have 3 new possible sales. We were a great team. We started small, just the 2 of us. Our office was tiny. It was 200 feet big. It was over a sandwich shop. The room was very small. If one of us stood up, the other had to move their chair back. We had 2 old desks from a website. We had 1 printer. It broke a lot. We had a coffee maker. The coffee tasted bad. But we had big dreams. We wanted to succeed. We sold business buildings. We sold stores. We sold big factory buildings. We sold places to keep things. The money you make is very big if you make a sale. But many people try to sell too. It takes a long time to make a deal. A sale can take 6 to 18 months. Buyers want to see everything. They want to see all the money papers. They want to see all the checkup papers. If you make one small mistake, you lose a lot of money. You can lose $1 million. After 8 months, we got lucky. Ben met a man who builds things. The man wanted to sell a tall building. The building had 12 floors. It was in the city center. The building was 15 years old. People rented all the space. It made $2,800,000 each year from rent. The seller wanted $28 million. We worked on this sale for 4 months. We stayed up until 2 in the morning. We wrote papers. We worked with people who check buildings. We fixed money problems. We talked for the buyer and seller. When the sale was done, we got money. We got $340,000. We gave half to the buyer's agent. After paying costs and taxes, Ben and I each got about $220,000. I will never forget seeing that money in our bank for the first time. That was 6 years ago. Now 23 people work for us. We sold buildings worth more than $180 million. Last year, I made $1,300,000. We moved to a big office. It's 4,000 feet big. It's where businesses are. We have a big meeting room. You can see the whole city. Our best workers have their own rooms. The front looks nice now. Not bad for me. I started calling people from an old car. It was a 2008 Honda. It had 180,000 miles on it.
I met Mia when I was 26. My business was getting good then. She was 24. She worked for a new small company. The company failed 6 months later. Mia was very pretty. She was 5 feet 6 inches tall. She had yellow hair. It cost more to keep it nice than some people pay for a car. Every man looked at her when she walked in a room. The problem was she knew she was pretty. We met at a meeting for business people. It was in the city. I wanted to meet new clients. I wore my best suit. It cost $200 then. She was there with friends from her job. She wore a black dress. It cost more than I made in a week then. She was very sure of herself. People liked that. We talked. She seemed to like my job. She asked good questions about selling buildings. She liked that I had my own company. Now I think she was thinking about how much money I could make. Then I thought she just wanted to learn. We got married 2 years later. The wedding was too big and fancy. Then I made about $165,000 each year. She made about $32,000. She had different marketing jobs. She never kept a job for long. Companies hired her because she was pretty. She was good at social media, but she got bored, or she fought with her boss. She left every 6 to 8 months. I paid for all of the wedding. It cost $38,000. It was a big party. 150 people came. The bar was open until 2 in the morning. We had a band play. The band cost more than my first car. We had many flowers, enough to fill a big plant room. Mia planned everything. She did too much. She spent months looking at places. She tasted many cakes. She tried on dresses. The dresses cost more than some people pay for a home each month. The dress she picked cost $3,200. She wore it for 6 hours. The wedding was at an old big house. It was outside the city. It had nice gardens. It had a big room with pretty lights on the ceiling. The flowers cost $4,500. There were white roses and peonies all over. The table flowers looked like art. The flowers for the wedding looked like a fairy tale. She wanted ice statues. She wanted a cake with 3 levels. It looked like a picture in a magazine. She wanted small gifts for guests. They cost $15 each. She wanted a video maker too. She wanted to remember everything. Then I thought it was sweet. She wanted everything perfect. I thought we only get married once. If it made her happy, the money was okay. Her family did not have much money. I was happy to pay for it all. Now I know it was a bad sign. She thought my money was her money. Her idea of perfect was to spend all the money. I made a big mistake. I did not make her sign a paper about money before we married. My lawyer helps with my business papers. He asked me to protect my money. He talked to me 2 months before the wedding. He said, "You are building something good. What if we break up? You need to protect your money." But when I talked to Mia about it, she got very upset. She cried a lot. She said I did not trust her. She said I thought our marriage would fail. She said, "If you love me, you don't need a paper. It is not sweet. It is cold. You treat our marriage like a business, not love." She made me feel bad. She said I thought she only wanted my money. She made me feel guilty for weeks. She asked if I thought she would use me for money. She said, "I do not want your money. I love you. I want to build a life with you." So I did not do it. I let my feelings win. I told my lawyer no paper. It was the worst money mistake I made. At least I thought so then. But it did not matter. She showed who she was before she could divorce me and take half my money. The first years were good. We bought a house. It cost $420,000. I paid 25% at first. I bought her a good car. It was a used BMW. It cost $38,000. I thought we were building a good life. The house was perfect. It was 2,800 feet big. It had 4 bedrooms. It had 3 bathrooms. It had a garage for 2 cars. Mia quit her job 1 year after we married. She said she wanted to be a wife. She said she might start her own business. She wanted to sell women's things online. That business never started. But it was okay. I made enough money for both of us. But as my company grew and I made more money, Mia changed. It happened slowly at first. She shopped more. She spent more on clothes. She spent more on makeup. She spent more on things to make her pretty. She got her nails done each week. It cost $80 each time. She got her face done each month. It cost $150. She got her hair done every 6 weeks. It cost $300. Then she bought bigger things. She bought bags with famous names. They cost more than some people make in a month. She bought shoes that cost $400. She wore them 2 times. When I asked about the money, she said, "I need to look like a rich man's wife," or "How you look matters in your job." After 2 years of marriage, she took trips with her friends. They went to Miami, they went to Vegas, they went to Cabo. They stayed in very nice hotels. Her friends were single. Some were divorced and got money from their ex-husbands. Some dated rich older men. She came back with stories.
She told me about the places. She told me about men who bought them expensive food. She told me about special treatment at clubs. She said, it must be nice to feel liked. She showed me pictures. The food at one place cost more than some people pay for a home. While I worked 70 to 80 hours a week, she had a life most people dream of. She never said thank you. She thought she deserved my success. She did not think I worked for it. I should have known when she talked about Derek. But I trusted her. I was busy. I did not see the signs. Derek was a man she met at yoga. The yoga place was nice. It cost $180 each month for all the classes you want. Derek was a trainer. He was 28 years old. He looked like he was always at the gym. He looked like people on social media who show off their bodies. He had strong stomach muscles. His arms had tattoos. He put pictures of himself with no shirt online. He wrote words about living well and doing what you love. He had 15,000 people following him online. He put up videos of him working out. He put up recipes for drinks. He wrote about life. He said most people just go through life. He said they are afraid to do what they really want. He said he was a life coach. He said he helped people feel good. He was also a trainer. He loved himself too much. He thought he could save people. Mia talked about Derek all the time. At first it was small things. Derek thinks I should try this new exercise. Derek says I do this yoga move well. Derek is planning a walk in the park. I might go. Derek told me about a new drink. It gives you more energy. At first I thought it was okay. Mia always liked to exercise and do yoga. A trainer giving advice seemed normal. I was happy she cared about her health. I was happy she found something she liked. But then she talked about him more. She talked about his ideas on life. She talked about what he thought about love. She talked about what he thought made people happy. This man was not just a trainer. He was like a teacher. He thought he knew all the answers to big life questions. Mia said he was very smart, but he was 3 years younger than me. He did not go to school much. He only had a paper to be a trainer. We would eat Chinese food. She would say, Derek thinks most people accept a boring life. They are afraid to try new things. She said, he thinks you should be real. You should not do what others want. You should not be afraid of what people think. She said, Derek says many marriages fail. People get too comfortable. They stop growing as people. They need each other too much. They do not try to be their best self. She said, Derek thinks being with one person is old. It is not how people are made. He says people are not meant to be with only one person forever. That last thing should have been a big warning. But I was busy. I was trying to make sales. I was trying to manage my team. I did not listen to what she really said. I would just nod. I would say something simple. I was thinking about my work for the next day. She went to the gym with Derek more and more. It started as yoga 2 times a week. Then it became every day. The workouts lasted 2 to 3 hours. She would leave at 9 in the morning. She said it was morning training. She came back at noon. She looked happy. She had energy. I had not seen her like that in months. She got in the best shape ever. She lost weight. She got stronger muscles. Her whole way of being changed. She had more energy. She seemed happier. She was more sure of herself. I should have been happy for her, but something felt wrong. She would come home and talk without stopping. She talked about what Derek taught her. She talked about what they talked about. She talked about new things she learned about herself. It was like she was getting help for her mind. But she said it was just exercise. Then there were the text messages. Her phone would light up when we watched TV. She would grab it fast. She had a small smile.
When I asked who texted, she would say, just Derek, he's talking about tomorrow. Or, Derek sent me something about food and thinking. But she got many texts, sometimes 15 or 20 in one night, often after 11 at night. One night I joked about the many texts. I asked to see them. She got angry. She said, "It's not just about food. We talk about many things. He helps me grow. He helps me know myself better." When I asked more, she got mad. She said I was trying to control her. She said I was jealous. I am not stupid. I am not a jealous person. But I saw what was happening. This man was getting in my wife's head. He was telling her ideas. He said she should live her real life. He said she should not accept less than what she wants. He was tricking her. He used new age ideas and exercise talk. He gave her lots of attention. He made her feel special. He made her feel understood. But he also made her unhappy with her life now. But I thought if I was a good husband, if I gave her money, if I built our future, she would stop. I thought it was just a time. Maybe she was having a midlife crisis early. I tried to spend more time with her. I planned nights out. I gave her small gifts. I said we should take a trip. But she did not care. She seemed distracted. Her mind was somewhere else. I was very wrong. It was Friday, September 8th. I will never forget that day. I realized I married a person who does not care about others. I came home early from work. It was 4 p.m. I never came home early, but we just made a big sale. We sold a very tall building. It had 47 floors. We got $2,100,000. That money would help us for 2 years. I was happy to tell Mia the news. I walked in her house. I thought she would be doing her usual things, but she was in our room. She was putting clothes in bags. There were 3 big bags on our big bed. She was moving fast and seemed upset. I asked, "Are you going somewhere?" I was really confused. She did not look at me. She said, "I am going to stay with my sister for a while." I said, "Okay, why? Did something happen?" Then she stopped packing. She turned to me. Her face showed hate. She looked determined, like I was something bad she had to deal with for too long. She said, "Mark, I cannot do this anymore. I feel like I cannot breathe here. This place is boring. I am 29 years old. I feel dead inside." I sat on the bed. I said, "What do you mean? I thought things were good. I just made the biggest sale ever for our company." She said, "That is the problem." She walked around the room like a trapped animal. She said, "You only care about work and money. You want a boring future. We will get old in this house. We will do the same things every day until we die." I said, "I am building this for us, for our future." She said, "I do not want that future. I want to live now. I am young and pretty. I have chances. I want to do things. I want adventure. I want passion. I want to feel alive. I do not want to just exist." When she said young and pretty, it hurt me. It was like she said our relationship had a time limit. I asked what kind of things, but I knew where this was going. She stopped walking. She looked right at me. She said, "I want to see other men, Mark. We should let each other see other people, or I will leave right now." The room was quiet. I could hear my heartbeat. I said, "You want to be with other men?" It was not really a question. She said, "Do not make it sound bad, Mark. It is about trying new things in life. We should not be with just one person. There is so much to do. If you say no,
I will leave now. You will never see me again. You choose." This made me angry. She said it with a smile. She thought she had all the power. She really thought I would do anything to keep her. She thought I would let her be with other men, and I would still pay for her life. I stood up. I said, "You know what, Mia? You are right." For a second, she smiled a big smile. She thought she won. I said, "You should go try those things. Have fun." Her smile went away fast. She said, "What?" I said, "You heard me. Go live your best life. See what else is out there. I'm sure Derek will be happy to help you find yourself." She said, "You will not fight for me?" I said, "Fight for what? A woman who thinks our marriage is a prison? No thanks." She stood there for a minute. She probably waited for me to cry. She waited for me to ask her to stay. But I took out my phone. I looked at my list of numbers. She asked, "Who are you calling?" I said, "The man who changes locks first, then my lawyer." Then she showed her real self. She said, "You cannot change the locks. This is my house too." I said, "Actually, no. The house has only my name. I bought it with my money before we married. You can take your things, but you have 1 hour. Then the locks will be changed. She tried to trick me next. First she cried, and she got angry, and she tried to make a deal. She said, "Please, Mark, I love you. I just need to think about some things." I said, "You had 7 years to think. Time is up." She said, "How can you throw away everything we had?" I said, "I am not throwing anything away. You did that when you decided I was not enough. You planned to leave with your trainer." When I said Derek's name, her face showed panic. She realized I knew more than she thought. She said, "It is not what you think. Derek and I are just friends." I said, "Mia, you told me to let you see other men. But you have been with another man for months. You liked him. You probably touched him. Do not think I am stupid." She stood there for a few more minutes. She tried all her tricks. When none worked, she took her bags. She went to the door. She said, "You will be sorry for this." I said, "Maybe, but I will be sorry as a man who knows he is valuable." I heard her shoes go down the stairs. I heard the front door close hard. I heard her car drive away. Then I went downstairs. I got a soda. I called the man who changes locks. By 9 at night, all the locks were new. I was not angry. I felt clear. For the first time in months, maybe years, my mind felt clear. The next morning I woke up. I thought I would feel very bad. But I felt good. Like a heavy weight was gone from my shoulders. I did not even know it was there. I called Ben. I told him everything. Ben is my business partner. But more than that, he is my best friend from school. He can find something funny in any situation. He said, Wait. She told you to let her see other men? And when you said okay, she acted like you were wrong?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Yes, man. This is the best thing that ever happened to you. You avoided a big problem, like in the movie when the man stops the bullets." I said, "It does not feel like the best thing now." He said, "Trust me." "How do you feel now?" I thought about it, and I said, "I feel better. Like a weight I did not know I had is gone." He said, "Exactly, because deep down, you knew something was wrong. You worked too hard.
You tried to make her happy, but she would never be happy. Nothing you gave her was enough. Ben came over that night with pizza. He made packing Mia's things funny. He can find humor in anything. He held up face cream. He said, "What is this? $200 for something you put on your face? Wow, no wonder she needed another man to help pay for this." He found her books. They were hidden. They were about helping yourself. The books were How to Marry a Rich Man and How to Get Men to Like You, Getting What You Want from Men. I am serious. These were real books on her shelf. Ben said, "Mark, my friend, these are not just self-help books. This is a book on how to get a rich man. Look at this part. How to tell if a young man will make a lot of money. There's a list. It tells you if a man is worth your time. It looks at his job and how he spends money." I never saw the books before. I was too busy with my business. I missed the signs. She saw me as money, not as a partner. Ben said, "Remember when she made you buy the BMW? She did not have a job, but she needed a $42,000 car. Then she bought expensive bags. She paid a lot for the gym. She got her nails done every week. Man, you paid for her life, but she was looking for someone new to be with." We found papers in her desk. They were text messages. They were between her and Derek. They went back 4 months. She wrote, "He is working late again. Sometimes I feel like I am married to money, not a person." He wrote, "You make me feel alive. I forgot I could feel this way." 4 months. She planned this for 4 months, maybe longer. Our friends told us. Mia moved in with Derek 72 hours after she left our house. She went from our bed to his home. The timeline was clear. She planned to leave for months. She was probably with Derek for weeks. She gave me the choice because she thought I would say yes. She thought I had no respect for myself. She was wrong. Ben said she will come back begging. Girls like her always do. They think they can find someone better. Then real life happens. They know they made a big mistake. He was right, but how bad her fall was surprised both of us. About a month after Mia left, I heard things. Our friend Lisa called. Lisa said, "Mia has been asking about you. She seems different. She is stressed. I have never seen her like this." I said, "That is too bad." I did not care about her feelings anymore. Lisa said, "She is working again. She got a job at a marketing company in the city."
This was new to me. Mia had not worked in over 2 years. I said, good for her. But I was curious. I looked into it. The company was not good. They called small businesses to sell things. She made about $26,000 a year, plus some money from sales. After taxes, she probably took home $1,800 a month. To understand, Mia used to spend more than that on just clothes. When we were married, she would spend $500 at expensive stores without thinking. The irony was amazing. But my business was doing great. That $2,100,000 sale led to 3 more big sales in 2 months. We hired 8 new people. We moved to a bigger office. I made more money in 1 month than Mia would make in 2 years. Ben and I decided to celebrate. We went to Monaco. We flew in the best seats. We stayed in a very nice hotel. We ate at places where one meal cost more than some people make in a week. We put pictures online. They were not too showy, but they showed we lived well. Then, Mia started calling.
The first call was at 11 at night on a Tuesday. I did not answer. She left a message. She talked about thinking of me. She said she wanted to talk. Her voice sounded different. It sounded small. She did not sound sure of herself. She called again 2 days later. I answered. She said, "Hey, Mark, I hope you do not mind I called. I was thinking of you." I said, "That is nice, Mia. How are things?" We talked about small things for 5 minutes. Then she said, "Maybe we could get coffee sometime. I miss talking to you. I miss our friendship." I said, "I do not think that is a good idea, Mia." She said, "Why not? We were together for almost 10 years. Can we not be friends?" I said, "Friends do not tell each other to see other people." She said, "Mark, I was confused then. I was not thinking clearly. I was having a hard time. I made bad choices." I said, "You seemed clear to me when you were packing your bags." She said, "Please, just coffee. I promise I do not want to get back together. I just need a friend now." I said, "No, I'm sorry, but no." I hung up. I blocked her number right away. But Mia started going to places she knew I would be. The gym, the coffee place near my work, the restaurant where we first went on a date. Each time, she acted like it was an accident. 2 months after the call started, Mia's sister Zoe contacted me. Zoe and I always got along. She was the smart one in the family. Zoe said, "Mark, I need to talk to you about Mia." I asked, "What about her?" Zoe said, "She is having a hard time, a very hard time. It is starting to scare me." I said, "That is too bad, but I do not know what you want me to do." Zoe said she is falling apart. She lost her job 3 weeks ago. Derek made her leave his home. She's been sleeping on my couch. She cries all the time. She does not eat. All she thinks about is getting you back. This was interesting news. Derek made her leave. It seemed he did not care about her as much as she thought. He wanted someone to have fun with, not someone with problems and no money. When she lost her job, she could not help pay rent. He told her to find another place to live. I said, "That is bad for her, but it is not my problem." So he said, "Mark, she made a big mistake. She knows it now. She wants to fix things with you." I said, "She looked at me. She said she would rather be with other men than stay married to me. You cannot come back from that." Zoe kept calling in the next weeks. She told me more about Mia's fall. She lost her job because she called in sick a lot. She cried at work. Now she works part-time at a clothes store in the mall. She makes very little money. Zoe said, "She lost 20 pounds, Mark. She looks bad. She hardly eats. She does not sleep. All she talks about is how sorry she is for leaving you." I said, "It sounds like she is learning what happens when you make bad choices." Zoe said, "This is mean, even for you." I said, "What is mean is expecting me to save someone from their own bad choices." But the most interesting news came from Ben. He had people watching Mia. Ben said, "Man, you will not believe this. Mia has been telling people you made her leave. She says you controlled her. She says you were bad with money." I said, "What? That is crazy." Ben said, "Yes. She says you made her quit her job. She says you kept her away from friends.
She says when she tried to leave, you took all her money. She says you threw her out with nothing." I said, "She quit her job herself. I never kept her from friends. I did not steal anything. I just stopped paying for her life after she left me for another man." Ben said, "It gets worse. She has been writing online about money abuse and bad partners. But people who know us both do not believe her." He showed me pictures of her posts. She wrote long, angry things. She said men use money to control women. The comments were mean. People who knew us both said bad things to her. People said, "Girl, did you not cheat on him with your trainer? You told me you were bored with being married. Mark paid for everything while you shopped. How is that abuse? You left him for another man. Take responsibility for what you did." People were very mean to her in the comments. 6 months after Mia left, a big real estate company bought my company. They paid $43 million. After taxes and paying people who gave me money, I got about $21 million. Ben and I decided to have a party. We rented the top floor of the best hotel in the city. We hired the best food company. We invited important people in our business. This is where life is funny. The food company we hired was the same one Mia worked for. She got the job after she lost her store job. Ben found out a week before the party. Ben said, "Your ex-wife will probably serve food at your rich man party." He laughed so hard he could not breathe. The night of the party, I wore my best suit. I felt great. The top floor was full of successful people. They were celebrating our success. After an hour, I saw Mia. She was behind the food table. She was putting out food. She tried not to be seen. She lost more weight. She looked very tired, but she smiled for the guests. Around 10 at night, she came to me. It was a quiet time. She said, "Congratulations." She said it quietly. She said, "I heard about the sale." I said, "Thanks. $21 million. That is a lot of money." She said, "It is. We could have had a great life together." I said, "We did have a great life together. You threw it away." She said, I know I did. I have paid for it every day since. Mark, I'm begging you, please give me another chance." I asked, "Why would I do that?" She said, "Because I learned my lesson. I know what I lost. I know what is important now." I asked, "What is important? You mean the money I made while you said you were bored?" She said, "That is not fair." I said, "What is not fair is spending 7 years taking care of someone who thought it was bad." I could have been nice here, but she made her choice. She decided our marriage was worth less than a short time with a trainer. I said, "Mia, you gave me a choice because you thought I was weak. You thought I would not make the hard choice. You were wrong." She said, "Please, I have nothing." I said, "You have what you chose. You chose when you decided I was not enough." I called Ben over. He was watching and trying not to smile too much. I said, "Ben, meet my ex-wife, Mia." "Mia, this is Ben. He is my business partner. He is the man who helped me celebrate not being married to you." As we walked away, I heard her whisper, "Please, one more time." But I did not look back. The party went until 2 in the morning. I gave a speech. I thanked everyone who helped us succeed. While I did that, Mia cleaned up. She cleaned up after the party that celebrated everything she threw away. The last I heard, Mia works at a restaurant in the suburbs. She has little money. She is still single. Zoe stopped calling me with updates. I made it clear I do not care how Mia is doing.